What is up, guys? Welcome back. Another episode, Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. In this video, we're doing a live PPR mock draft. This is going to be a 10-team head-to-head points mock here on ESPN. I'm going to be drafting from the 5th overall spot. If you guys want to check out more mock drafts, I do have a big playlist. I've mock draft from almost every spot so far, 10, 12-man leagues. Check out that playlist. I'll probably put it in one of the cards or something in here, but check out your spot if you need it. But tonight, again, pick 5, 10-team league. We'll see what we can get. I did put Justin Jefferson as the thumbnail man, so we will see if we can land him, and we'll craft a Justin Jefferson pick number 5 draft if we can. But otherwise, what we're going to do throughout the night, we're going to access my my rankings and my projections. We'll kind of just cross-reference them when we need to make a pick or so. But if you do want access to my Google spreadsheet and my rankings and my tiers and everything, you can check it out. There's a link in the description for a 2022 draft kit. So let's get into it. The draft starts in about 40 seconds. Tons of fun stuff in the draft kit. And yeah, we'll just we'll see how it goes. What's going on to Justin tonight? Thoughts on Sanders and Gainwell? I have not been attracted to draft Miles Sanders at ADP. I'm kind of just turned off by the fact that they kind of do a committee approach there, and his ADP on ESPN is way too high. He's going at 62. You know, that's just way too high. In the beginning of the 6th round, I think that's the fact that you can get Kenny Gainwell is so cheap in comparison. He's going at 275, so he's not even on the radar in ESPN drafts right now. So I think you can pencil him in. He's the guy you want. Gainwell on your bench. The article in the blurb that I read today was Gainwell's going to be the guy getting the third down work and probably the goal line work in some of the 2-minute offense work. So I think Gainwell, easy fade Sanders, go and get Gainwell later in the draft. Good evening to Mr. Aiden Tobin. Looks like, did Aiden sneak into this draft? I can't remember. Did he? I thought I saw him. Yeah, he's pick number 4. So he's right in front of me. I got pick number 5 here, and then Justin's going to be drafting from number 6. So we got a big 4, 5, 6 sandwich going on here. We'll see if we can each come out with the team that we like. Hopefully Aiden lets me get my Justin Jefferson. This is I messed this up. This is not full PPR. This is going to be, I guess, standard, which is very unfortunate. I guess I hit the wrong button. So we'll be drafting differently. I guess we'll be doing pro team head-to-head points mock. I think it's standard. So unfortunate, my error there. So I guess I'll have to advertise this as a standard mock draft. So I'm still going to take Justin Jefferson anyways. Yeah, the ADPs are pretty similar. It's gonna boost running backs, I think, in this mock draft. So get your running backs early. We'll line up a PPR mock draft at another point. But I still get Justin Jefferson here. Aiden gets Christian McCaffrey. You can still see the overall ADP doesn't look too much different for the most part here. You're probably going to see some players push back. Those are the guys that are pass catching backs, but for the most part, it should be, drafting like it's PPR. And they should really. I thought I clicked on a PPR mock draft, but I guess not. But either way, in a non-PPR mock draft, Derrick Henry's probably the guy you want to get in the first round. Najee Harris, another guy that's going to get a lot of volume, a lot of rushing touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey still going to be a guy, even though he's a more PPR guy, Eckler and Christian McCaffrey, you still see those guys go as top 5 picks. And Jamar Chase slides down a little bit. Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, you still see receivers going pretty much as it would be a PPR league anyways. But on the second round here, you're going to start to see, I think the running backs in the second round are some of the most appealing options here, whether it's Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara, guys like DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb. So in a standard format, that's going to boost a guy like Nick Chubb. That's going to boost a guy like Javonte Williams or James Conner, these guys who have a chance to get double-digit touchdowns and not so much receiving work. So those are some of the best picks I think you can make in this round. And CeeDee Lamb still on the board as far as stud wide receivers. I don't know if I'm attracted to taking that at that point. Again, because I started with Justin Jefferson, I think it makes more sense to just pencil your favorite running back in there after Justin Jefferson in the first round. So we'll see what happens. I can get Swift. I can get Kamara. I'm feeling pretty good either way. Getting a top talented back and potentially like Kamara, if he plays the full season, he definitely has the ability to be a top 5, top 10 back. So I'm gonna snag Alvin Kamara here. Other players that interest me, I mean, Aaron Jones. Again, I know I messed it up. It should be a PPR league. Aaron Jones would be a really good pick here in the second round. But we'll take Alvin Kamara again, locking him in, assuming he's going to play the full season. We'll see what happens. But then there's CeeDee Lamb. I can't argue with CeeDee Lamb. There's four running backs I like in the second round, and CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, a couple other receivers here. It looks like I have the RB filtered here. It looks like Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins are all above Mike Evans, which is interesting, especially in a standard league. I mean, I would put Mike Evans over Keenan Allen. I'd put him over DJ Moore. You're talking about a guy that's probably going to get locked into 1,200 yards and 10 plus touchdowns. So Mike Evans would be a priority in a standard or a half PPR league for sure. Um, Interesting. I don't know why ESPN has Cam Akers up here at the 21st ranked player on the board, but that just seems a little crazy to me. I know he went round 3, pick 2. So, roughly what, pick number 20. Yeah, pick number 22. That's, to me, that's just too early because they've been pumping up Darrell Henderson. So that's Cam Akers is an easy fade for me in the third round. But as we're almost up to pick here, I don't really know if there's any running backs that stick out. Connor Dobbins. I do like Saquon Barkley. I still don't know if I trust it. Looks like Barkley just went off the board here. So I'm probably looking at wide receiver. And there, Aiden gets a good player in Travis Kelce. That would have been on my board here. But we're talking about Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, AJ Brown, Mike Williams. There's tons of good standard wide receivers here. I'm going to go ahead. I have Kamara and I have Jefferson. I'm gonna fall into T. Higgins, one of my favorite picks in this round here. And if I just look, let me actually go to my wide receiver rankings. Let's hit standard. T. Higgins is my wide receiver 9. I did have Mike Evans as my 6. Mike Williams is my 7. T. Higgins as my 9. So I'm getting a top 10 receiver. AJ Brown's also in play at this range. You see Justin go ahead and get Mike Evans. So interesting. It's kind of fun doing it. What I like about a standard league is it really makes you prioritize touchdowns. And what you will see is the better a player does, usually the more touchdowns and the more yards he has. You have these PPR type running backs and some things that kind of fall through the cracks, but for the most part, a good fantasy player, he's going to have over 1,000 all-purpose yards. He's going to have 8 to 10 touchdowns. So I kind of like the thinking here of doing a standard draft now that we have time to sit with what we've done. But yeah, Cam Akers, man. I don't see it. To me, he's a fringe top 20 running back. I mean, I'm taking Barkley. You can see heavy third round here. Look at all the players taken in the third round. Javonte, Akers, and Barkley. But after that, you have Kelce, Higgins, Evans, Allen, Andrews, A.J. Brown. Round 3 is a heavy wide receiver round. And James Conner to finish round 3, I think that's fair value. And then Ezekiel Elliott here. I don't know if I love James Conner and Ezekiel Elliott, but I think if you take them together, you're probably looking at a pretty good system. And it looks like Vasquez started with Adams and Dalvin Cook. So not a bad idea there to just pound the running backs. So I think the running backs have pretty much hit a wall now. I mean, Dobbins is still there. I'm fading Montgomery. I don't trust him as a top 20 running back. You got Breece Hall, and then we got this ugliness of Jacobs, Gibson, a bunch of other players here. I'm going to probably have to. I'm trying to do. I don't know what Aiden's talking about here. He says to don't do it. To me, I see a handful of players I like on this board. Technically, the top 3. I mean, there's 3 picks ahead of me here. If I get one of the top 3, I'm pretty happy. In DJ Moore, J.K. Dobbins, or Mike Williams. Looks like Josh Allen, round 4, pick 3. That's kind of fun here. But there's a handful of guys. I think the round 4 is still a pretty juicy round, but it's shaping up to be a wide receiver round. I mean, look at DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, Pittman Jr., you got the Bronco, Cortland Sutton. Like there's tons of wide receivers that I prioritize here. And I'm not sure I love. I'm not sure I love some of these running backs here. I'm gonna let Aiden get his guy. I'm gonna let him get his Travis Etienne. He can have them in the 4th round. That's okay with me because I get one of my top. This is insane for Mike Williams to be available at pick 36. And this is supposed to be a standard league. That to me is pretty crazy. So I'll take Mike Williams all day. Again, he is my wide receiver 7 in standard formats, and I don't have him doing anything too crazy. Like I have him going for 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. If we look at what his stats were last year, Mike Williams, he had 1,146 yards and 9 touchdowns. I have him basically just doing a little bit better than he did last year, which is just insane. So wide receiver 11 last year, I don't understand why Mike Williams is being drafted so late. Looks like Aiden got a good pick. Michael Pittman Jr. That was a good pick there. Just in the nature of a standard league here, the nature of a standard league, I'm taking Mike Williams over Pittman, but in a full PPR league, like Pittman Jr., I think if I actually flip these, Pittman Jr. I have Pittman Jr. as a wide receiver 10. So I'm very high on basically if your name is Mike and you receive the ball, I like you this year. Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Mike Pittman Jr. So I'm all in on the Mikes. But anyways, we're moving into the fifth round here. It looks like we had the fellowship group here. Justin gets Jalen Waddle. I got Mike Williams, and Aiden gets Michael Pittman Jr. So I think we all hit really well at the receiver position there. DJ Moore, another pick there. I'm on the board right now. I don't see anything that I love, but I kind of do. This is okay. I've been meaning to pump him up. I would have taken Cortland Sutton if he's there. He's probably my favorite pick in the fifth round. But the guy to take at this point of the draft, it's got to be Kyle Pitts. I have a feeling Kyle Pitts, and especially in a standard league too. Now keep in mind, Kyle Pitts last year, he scored one touchdown all year, but there was only two other tight ends that went over 1,000 yards. That's Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. So you put him up there with the yards, and even if he just gets like 5 or 6 touchdowns, that's going to immediately lock him into a top 5 tight end role. So I am all aboard the Kyle Pitts top 5 tight end, maybe even top 3 tight end possibility there. So I really like him. And yeah, Darren Waller. Uh, and Darren Waller goes in the same range. If you're telling me Pitts and Waller go in the fifth round, I think that is insane value. That's kind of lining up to be the sweet spot for tight end. If you want to just pencil in round 5, I'm going to take Waller or Pitts. I think, yeah, and Pitts with Mariota. Mariota has a really strong history with pass catching tight ends. Just look no further than his man Delaney Walker. So I'm very optimistic on Pitts. You probably got to pencil him in for another 1,000 yards. And again, if he hits, 5, 6, 10 touchdowns, something like that, that's what's going to make his value. I just want to see what do I have him going in the standard format. And I mean, I have him as my tight end 4. I have him hitting 1,085 yards, and I just have him at 4 touchdowns. If he catches upwards of 6 to 8 touchdowns, now we're talking. We're talking some potentially really big numbers here out of Kyle Pitts. But anyways, we're almost up to pick. I just want to see what our guys have been doing. Looks like Aiden's going to be up after me, Justin before me. And yeah, it depends on where you are. If you're picking at the end of round 4, you could potentially get him, at the beginning of round 5. So you got to just play your cards right. You also have to be really aware of who you're drafting, and if you're kind of if your neighbor, you got to know what your neighbors are into for drafting wise. But anyways, we're on the board. I only have Alvin Kamara as my running back, but looks like Justin got my AJ Dillon, so no AJ Dillon for me, but we'll find a running back too that we like. For now though, I'm not seeing the value there at the QB spot though. Lamar, Kyler Murray, there's Jalen Hurts. I might play the QB dance here. But I think I got to go back to the receiver well. Brandon Cooks, Darnell Mooney, these guys should not be available here. I'm going to slap Darnell Mooney on this team. That's a guy that I think has some strong upside. He's a safe play. Going to get another 1,000 yards and get some good opportunity there. I have a feeling he's taking Allen Robinson. I let him take Allen Robinson there. He was on my list. It was either Robinson, Mooney, or Cook. I have a good feeling about Darnell Mooney this year. The difference for me between Robinson, Mooney, and Brandon Cooks is I'm going to take Mooney and Cooks over Robinson, just because Robinson is the number 2 on his team, whereas Mooney and Cooks, they're kind of the guaranteed number 1 options in that team. So I see upwards of 140 targets for Mooney and Cooks, whereas Robinson a little bit less, maybe in the 120s, 130s at the high end. But Robinson could easily beat those guys in touchdowns. So that would be the difference here. And yeah, but I don't trust Eberflus, but he's not calling the plays. It's the offensive coordinator that spent time in Green Bay. So I feel really good about Luke Getsy calling plays in Green Bay. He's been able to learn from Aaron Rodgers and kind of figured things out. So Mooney's going to get his touches. When you're going for targets about 140 plus, I'm really not too picky. But anyways, as the board is moving, you see a bunch of quarterbacks still on the board. Lamar, Kyler, Dak, Hurts, Brady. I mean, in a 10-team league, man, I think it does pay to wait. I think it pays to wait. This is an easy one. I'm taking Juju all day. Juju Smith-Schuster all day. But in a touchdown league, I suppose it does make sense to at least consider the man that's going to score a lot of touchdowns there. But I'm going to slap Brandon Cooks. I'm surprised he's still on the board. I now have 5 stud wide receivers. I have Cooks, Mooney, Williams, Higgins, and Justin Jefferson. Looks like Team Tobin there got his Juju. Juju's one of the best picks in the 7th round too. Like I would put Juju up in that tier with Mooney, A-Rob, and Cooks. Like basically where we're getting Juju and Cooks, like they should have went right after. I mean, I'm taking Juju and Brandon Cooks over Deontay, over Marquise Brown. There goes Jalen Hurts. So good pick by Justin there. I'll play the QB dance and see what comes back around for me the next time. I'm totally cool with waiting. I mean, I could pair someone with my Justin Jefferson or my T Higgins, or even if I wanted to really wait, I could wait to get the guy that's going to be thrown to Darnell Mooney. I think a lot of people are sleeping on what Justin Fields can do. Just for funsies, these are the Justin Fields numbers to end the season. I know he had some like really, really bad games, but look at this against Minnesota and Green Bay. So he's going to be kind of a wild passer, but the rushing upside is there. So 35 yards and 74 yards in the 2 games here, but a 16.9 game, 18.36 will cross this Baltimore Ravens game out, but 18-25, another clunker against Tampa Bay. But for the most part here, I like the 16 to 18 point floor of Justin Fields. And yeah, Juju is having himself a hell of a camp so far, so he's a priority. Who'll be the best QB said and done in last year's draft? Who'll be the best QB said and I'm not sure said and down. The best QB in last year's draft when it's all said and done. As far as rookie quarterbacks, I still think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. I still think Trevor Lawrence has all the tools, and I'm willing to just kind of wipe the slate clean with Trevor Lawrence and what happened in Jacksonville. To me, is just a complete waste of a season. Not much you can learn from. I like the fact that they spent aggressively in free agency to get him some playmakers. They're building that defense up. I trust the Jags right now to continue building what they're doing. And I just think Trevor's going to have himself a pretty nice bounce back season. But man, nobody likes Kyler Murray, huh? Nobody wants these points. It's just interesting. Kyler Murray, man, top 5 QB most weeks when he plays. Yeah, I don't know if he ruined him. I hope Trevor is able to overcome the bullshit that happened last year. But either way, I feel pretty good about Trevor taking a huge step. And yeah, he's a smart guy. Like, he had Carson Wentz playing at an MVP level that one year. I don't know if you guys remember, but MVP voting had Carson Wentz in it that year. He blew up. So I think I think that's the thing with Kyler Murray is he never seems to play a full season, which makes me hesitate a little bit to draft him. But anyways, we're still looking pretty dang good here. A lot of running backs on the board. I mean, at this point, I kind of want to continue to take a wide receiver here. We'll see if Justin takes my guy. He does not. There's great receivers left on the board, but I think I need to grab me favorites running back here in Clyde Edwards-Helaire halfway through. What's going on, Christian? Felt like I drafted Javonte too high with Melvin Gordon still on the team. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Either way, I guess so. Javonte Williams, round 3 here. Essentially, he's got Aaron Jones ahead of him too, and he also ended up taking Jonathan Taylor here. So he's got Javonte as his running back 3. If you put him in as your RB2 or your RB3, that's looking pretty good. But for the most part now, I want to start drafting Javonte kind of around pick number 30. I think that's where he'll even out. But I still believe talent's going to win out. Javonte's the better player. We just need to be patient and have the time. If anything happens to Melvin Gordon, though, like it is on. Like Javonte's season is going to be on. And yeah, I'm very interested in the Tony Pollard backfield. Round 8, pick 5, good spot for him. Aiden gets my Allen Lazard, great pick there. Elijah Moore, I love the Elijah Moore pick there. And yeah, thoughts on D-Hop and Michael Thomas. I'm not interested in DeAndre Hopkins, just because DeAndre Hopkins has never had that much target competition. He's got Marquise Brown, Zach Ertz, and Rondale Moore now. Like he's never had that much competition. You also have to worry about the age and will he be the same after his drugs that he used last year? I'm just kind of out on DeAndre Hopkins. There's other players in that range I'd rather take. And then Michael Thomas, I'm kind of in on Michael Thomas. Like he's been looking really good. If you've seen the videos, he looks like he's 100%. So I'm definitely interested there. As far as I am up to pick here, I still got all my quarterbacks. I got Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Russ Wilson. I'm feeling pretty damn good about the quarterbacks. Tight end position, I don't need a backup tight end. The running back position, there's a couple guys that I feel really strongly about, but I don't mind waiting here. Let's take another flyer at the receiver position. I know it's half PPR, but man, Christian Kirk should be drafted here. I know it's not full PPR, but Christian Kirk we'll find out. He's my wide receiver 6, so I'll probably be done with receivers now. I have Kyle Pitts, who I trust, and at this point now, I'm just going to take some flyers on some running backs and see if we can get some guys to score some TDs. Hollywood Brown or Mike Thomas to pick up the starting receiver. I'm gonna trust. It's hard because you have to trust some untrustworthy quarterbacks, right? You have to trust Jameis Winston and Kyler Murray. I think Michael Thomas, though, is probably the guy that I think is the safer play. I think Marquise Brown could get off to a really, really hot September, though. He could be a guy that ends up as like a top 10, top 15 receiver the first 4, 5, 6 weeks. So I think if you want someone to get you off to a hot start, it's Hollywood Brown. But if you want someone, I think I think by the end of the year, Michael Thomas will finish higher than Marquise, but it really depends. If you just want someone to hold the fort down the first month and a half while Hopkins is out, Hollywood Brown's probably going to be in for a pretty good September and half of October. He's going for Zay Jones, baby. And yep, so the QB dance, man. You do the QB dance, and sometimes you F around and you get a Joe Burrow or Russell Wilson in the 10th round. So if you guys are drafting in a 10-man QB league, but I think by default, let's just count it down. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Joe Burrow is QB 10, meaning Russell Wilson is someone's backup quarterback in a 10-man league, which is just stupid. So Aaron Rodgers, we like Aaron Rodgers, but Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow should probably be going ahead of him. Even Trey Lance, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. I think the move is to wait for QB. Because if you're telling me I could come away with a QB duo of Trey Lance and Derek Carr, or Trey Lance and Kirk Cousins, or even like Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance for that matter, I think that is super appealing. So save your quarterback pick, guys. I mean, I'm gonna burn this one till empty. I want to look at the running backs here. James Robinson, who's apparently going to be starting week 1. I'll snipe Aiden Tobin on that one. We'll just put him on the bench, see what happens. It looks like he was running with the ones today, so I like what I saw there. Actually, do you like Pittman or Michael Pittman? Easy, Michael Pittman, easy, and especially if it's full PPR, man. Michael Pittman Jr. I mean, last season, let's see where he was. So just consider Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz got Pittman Jr. to wide receiver 18. That's probably more towards Mike Thomas's ceiling. Again, Thomas has a lot of competition with Olave, with Kamara, and also Jarvis Landry there. Whereas Pittman, he is the guy. Like he caught 88 passes last year. I see all these numbers increasing. So for me, I'm probably going to see Michael Pittman up here as the wide receiver 10, 12 in that range. So to me, Pittman easy. And keep in mind, like Matt Ryan knows what he's doing. Like he's elevated some good receivers to some fantastic seasons. So I trust Matt Ryan. I trust Michael Pittman Jr. Landry or Bob Woods? You got to go with Robert Woods. I think at this point, he's gonna probably be the tied number 1 receiver there. I think that's probably the safe move. I'm on the clock here. I should probably make a pick real quick though. As far as running back still on the board, I can still get my quarterback here. I got Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. Looks like Trey Lance off the board here. So I'm gonna land on. We'll land into. Screw it. I'm gonna take Kirk Cousins because I got Justin Jefferson. Yeah, the receivers. Kenneth Walker's interesting, but I saw a note today that as far as first team reps go, about 90% of the first team reps are going to Rashad Penny, and Walker's being a little bit slept on. I was stuck between Mixon and Tyreek. Got Mixon, was the right choice. That to me was the right choice, especially if this is a standard or half PPR league. I think that is the right choice. Mixon is a lock for a top 10 back, whereas to me Tyreek, I don't know if I can say Tyreek Hill is. I don't know if Tyreek's a top 10 wide receiver. So to me, Mixon versus Tyreek, that's Mixon all day. And yeah, we got the JJ Kirk Cousins stacks, and yeah, Rashad Penny. I can very clearly see Rashad Penny leading the team in carries and touches and things like that. But it's just how valuable are these Seattle Seahawk touches? You know, a team that's going to win maybe 4 games, they're not going to be able to establish the run. They got Penny was he was on a tear to end last year, but you got to look at that schedule. I think he benefited from a really nice juicy schedule at the end of the year. He had a big game against Houston. I don't want to knock him, but he's been injury prone for most of his career. They drafted a running back in the second round. They have one of the worst offensive lines. I'm not going to win many games. I'm not nervous about the player. I'm nervous about the whole situation. And I don't even have Tyreek Hill is in full PPR. Tyreek Hill is my wide receiver 14. So why take Tyreek Hill in the second when you can get Jalen Waddle in the third round, who I think is going to have more reception. So I'm feeling pretty good about Waddle. Walker will change that. If you know Walker's story, it's on last year. Dude will die. To me, for where the Seahawk running backs are being taken, there's other situations I'd rather landed, but I think for the future it could be nice as long as they keep drafting offensive linemen. I'm drafting my 10-team league. Should I pick them up? Christian, you'd have to let me know who you can drop, and if it's redraft league, I'm open to it. But Robinson should be on the end of your bench. And what's cool, he might even have. I don't know if he has a red O if he can slide in the IR spot, but Robinson should be picked up. I'd rather have Evans in the third compared to hell yeah, Evans all day. Evans all day over Tyreek Hill. I like to look at value wise, and especially when you have a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle on the team. We don't know who's going to be the team's leading receiver. I would assume Tyreek Hill is going to get more big plays, but Jalen Waddle in the slot, man. And keep in mind, Jalen Waddle is coming off a pretty serious injury, and he balled the hell out last year. Like, he was one of the best players on the field. So I think people are kind of sleeping on him a little too much. And look, at guy like I got Kirk Cousins as my quarterback. I guess I'll slap Derek Carr on here and call it a day at QB. We'll see what happens here. And yeah, did I snipe Aiden's quarterback here? I don't know. Let's see what he was lining up here. He got Prescott. This is a good-looking team, Aiden. So Aiden's got he started at the 6th spot. He's got Dak, McCaffrey, ETN, Lamb, Pittman, Kelsey, Robinson. That's pretty beautiful, top to bottom there. They got this Kelsey or the Lamb and the Prescott stack. On the bench, you got Juju, Lazard, Ayuk, Walker, and Gainwell. So wow, pulling up into beast mode here for Kenneth Gainwell. That was a good pick. I was hoping to get him a little bit later, but I like what Aiden's got going on here. Let's see what Justin's cooking with. Hurts, Henry, Swift, Evans, Waddle, Waller, Dillon. You can tell you guys watch my videos because I love these teams. Pollard, Cook, Olave, Mostert, and Michael Carter. You guys are having a good draft tonight. I got 2 more spots to fill here. I kind of want to take some flyers on some players. A couple of my favorite running backs are still out there. I wouldn't mind getting me a backup tight end. There's some juicy ones here. Like, honestly, these top 4 guys all look really freaking good for backup tight ends. So I do think waiting on Aiden gets his Zay Jones, but I think you guys messed up. You guys let me get Dameon Pierce here, the starting running back for the Houston Texans. I think that's going to be a good pick for me. Yeah, and this was a good one. I don't think we've done this before. And then I think one of my last picks here. You want to continue to take some running backs. I don't love taking handcuffs. I'd rather take running backs that have a weekly role. So guys like Naheem Hines, J.D. McKissick, Jerick McKinnon, maybe Tyler Algier. These guys will have weekly touches, and those guys do make sense for me. Yeah, from doing all these mock drafts and best ball drafts, I have found that being in the 4th, 5th, 6th pick, sometimes the 7th pick, those have been my favorite drafts because you stay pretty balanced. Like, you have a good shot at pretty much anybody on the field. And when you reach, you're only reaching by 10 to 12 picks, which isn't that bad. And the Texans' Davis Mills neck is more than. I'm excited about the Texans. I think they have something brewing there. I think people are going to know who Nico Collins is. People are going to know who Brevin Jordan is. There's going to be some good offense coming from the Texans. But man, you're telling me nobody wants Tom Brady's slot receiver? Nobody wants Zach Ertz, he was pretty strong down the stretch last year for Zach Ertz or for Kyler Murray. A lot of good tight ends available here. So I'm kind of even Cole Kmet. I think Cole Kmet should be drafted. This you're talking about a guy who had over 100 targets. He didn't score any touchdowns last year, but man, Cole Kmet probably looking like a guy that has a lot of upside this year. I'm going to look at the running back situation one more time. I'm going to fall into Nyheim Hines. I know he's more of a PPR guy, but all of the evidence is saying, hey, they want to get Nyheim Hines more touches. He's the guy that could have upwards of 60 to 70 catches. Good pick there by Aiden with Isaiah McKenzie. Good pick, George Pickens. I didn't even get to say one of my favorite rules this year is to target a rookie wide receiver. I don't think I got one. I didn't get one. That's fine. That's fine here. Yeah, get the Bills slot receiver in there. Ertz, man, round 13, Zach Ertz. Make it make sense. Nobody wants him. That is insane. Round 14, Zach Ertz. That's a mistake. If I knew that, like I would have waited here. But it looks like in a 10-man league, you can totally wait for QB and tight end. I think that is a pretty good option. And then basically, like I want to judge a team by how strong their bench is. Fantasy football is a war of attrition. You want to make sure you have all your bases covered, and you want to have, 2 running back bullets on your bench. You want to have 2-3 receivers on your bench. You want to have some trade chips. You want to, you want to come from a place of strength with these players here. I'm going to fade these defenses here. I'm going to get my man, Dan the Man Carlson, the #1 kicker from last season. I trust. So the thing is, I trust a kicker more than I trust defenses. I think I can just set my kicker every week. Defenses, you kind of want to be more tactful about it, though. You kind of want to stream defenses. So I've identified a handful of defenses that I want to have start the season. I just think in a 10-man league, dude, like you basically are guaranteed Joe Burrow or Trey Lance or Aaron Rodgers. Like you're guaranteed a damn good quarterback. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. Like you're guaranteed something pretty solid. I'm gonna pick the Browns have a nice 4-game schedule, but I'm gonna draft the Broncos defense. They get to go to Seattle week 1, Monday Night Football, and then they host Houston. So I'll rock the Broncos for the first 2 weeks. Team fade defense for sure. I dropped my defense for the first few weeks for the extra bench spots. That makes sense if you're drafting today or this weekend. All of my drafts are Labor Day weekend, so there's really no tactfulness to that. But this was fun. I had a fun draft with you guys. I went wide receiver heavy as always. Justin Jefferson, Alvin Kamara, T. Higgins, Mike Williams. Our first 4 picks ended up snagging Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Cooks, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to be our running back 2. And then we continued with Christian Kirk, James Robinson, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Dameon Pierce, Nyheim Hines, Dan Carlson, and the Broncos defense. So you guys both had really fantastic drafts as well. This was a lot of fun. Good draft all the way around. And we'll be doing this. We'll do another draft live Thursday night football, or for Thursday night. We're going to have football on this weekend. So that'll be fun to have while that's going on. But anyways, thank you so much for your time. Kindly subscribe if you guys are not subscribed yet. Like the video, all that good stuff. If you have a request, if you want me to do 10-team, 12-team from pick number 2 or whatever, let me know. I can do a mock draft for your needs. Thank you again so much for your time. Have a good night. We'll see you later. Peace.